leads to life, but I won't be on it. It's a narrow road, the mercy's wide, 'cause you're good on your promise. I'll take you at your word. If you said it, I'll believe it. I've seen how good it works. If you start it, you'll complete it. I'll take you at your word. You spoke, and the chaos fell in line. Well, I know, 'cause I've seen it in my life. It's a narrow road that leads to life, but I wanna be on it. It's a narrow road, the tide is high, 'cause you're part of the water. I'll take you at your word. If you said it, I'll believe it. I've seen how good it works. If you start it, you'll complete it. I'll take you at your word. You said your love would never give up. You said your grace is always enough. You said your heart would never forget or forsake me. No, no. You said I'm saved. You call me yours. You said my future's full of your hope. You've never failed, so I know that you'll never fail me. No, I'll take you at your word. If you said it, I'll believe it. I've seen how good it works. If you start it, you'll complete it. I'll take you at your word. If you said it, I'll believe it. I've seen how good it works. If you start it, you'll complete it. I'll take you at your word.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in today. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. If you have your coffee, go ahead and grab it. If you have your devotional, if this is your first time joining us, this is a beautiful thing that we get to do. We get to join in today for 21 days of prayer. We are currently on day 13. It's Saturday, and we're in for a great one today. So like I said, go ahead, grab your coffee, saddle up. If I haven't got to meet you yet, or you don't know who I am, you're first joining in, my name is Reese Smith. I am the Associate Minister at the Hillsdale campus of Life Changing Church, and I'm so excited to be joining you guys today. So today for day 13, this devotional actually has the great title of Impossible, ? Nothing at all. Impossible, that's kind of the idea that we're tackling, things that are really impossible today. Now, for this devotional, I will say that the first sentence of this whole devotional, as you're reading it on the U version, I think could really just sum up the answer to that question. Impossible? ? And the first sentence of the devotional is this: You serve a powerful God. Wow. A powerful God. Now, what does powerful mean? I mean, you've got strength. And when I think of strength and the word power, I'm a big wrestling fan. Old school WWF, current day WWE, even AEW. If you know anything about that kind of wrestling, that's my game. Okay, so when I hear the word powerful and I think strength, immediately my head goes back to the Mega Powers. Now, if you know anything about wrestling or you don't, the Mega Powers were a tag team of the two biggest stars at the time. You had the Hulkster Hulk Hogan, and you had the Macho Man, Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. And when they came together, they finally created a tag team. And it was crazy to think about. You had the two strongest, biggest stars in the whole company coming together to team together. And they were called the Mega Powers. Nobody could stop them. They were definitely mega powerful. And in this devotion, it starts off listing a couple awesome things that shows how God is powerful. It says he calms storms. I don't know about you, but if I could control the weather and I could calm a storm, I'd definitely turn that sun up a little bit. If you can't tell, it's a little chilly in the office today, so I got the coat on, but I'm thankful for the snow. It's beautiful outside the window. I get to enjoy stomping around in it a little bit. But another thing that just shows God's power, it talks about he created the world in 6 days. To me, that's just unfathomable. The amount of power that it takes to not only control the weather, but to create the weather. Wow. And a third thing that it mentions right there at the beginning of the devotion, as you're reading through it, talks about how he moves mountains. Now, for me, moving a mountain, definitely impossible. But for me, also scaling a mountain, I think seems impossible. When I started college in 2018, me and a couple buddies, we got invited to go over to a guy's house that was associated with the college. And in his garage, he had built a rock climbing wall. And he invited us over to come try it out. I'd never done anything like that. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm not necessarily a big fan of heights. It's not necessarily the height that worries me. It's falling from that height that scares me. So I try to avoid getting up high unless I've got a lot of space around me to make sure that the edge is far enough away. So scaling this thing seemed pretty scary for me. So we got over there, and all my buddies are strapping on these shoes, and if you know anything about these shoes, they're impossible to get on. For rock climbing, you have to wear shoes that are almost 2 to 3 sizes smaller than your feet because it causes your toes to kind of hook at the end of it and curl up. So that way, when you're trying to get up on these little handheld rocks, your toes can kind of curl and hook on top of them. So getting the shoes on is definitely impossible. But when I got up to the wall, I found that I could barely even get up the first couple of steps. The strength that I had in my body was not what it took to get up those steps. Now we think about the rock wall, and we think about how, for me, it felt almost impossible to even get off the ground. A God who can move mountains can lead you up a rock wall. Now we think about the things that we find in our lives that seem impossible. Maybe it is some sin that you're struggling with, a coworker that you just cannot seem to comprehend how to get along with them. And as much as you try to talk to them or find common ground, it seems like you are one step up the rock wall with them, and that next handheld reach is so far. It takes everything in your strength to just reach for the next one. But like me, watching my buddies climb the rock wall, they were doing it with ease. They were moving up and down, left and right, going from the reds to the blues to the greens to the yellows. They were maneuvering these situations with ease. But for me, I could barely even get off the ground. As we see all these examples of different things that people are doing in their lives, it can be kind of impossible to think that we'll ever get to the next step in some of these things. And maybe it doesn't even have to be sin related. Maybe you're struggling with finances, and it seems like every day you are living penny to penny, trying to go to work for long hours just to have all of that money drain out of your bank account the next week, paying bills, paying for soccer games or basketball games or whatever it is. Maybe you're having health issues and it seems like the hospital and the medical bills are just taking every single step that you take forward. They're taking it away, and it seems impossible to find that next handheld. Now I want to say that I'm a big Batman fan. So when I think about this wall that we struggle with in climbing, I think back to old school Batman, Adam West, if you will. And I think of those scenes where you see him kind of turn himself to the wall, and it looks like he's got a rope that he's tied up to the top, and he is climbing the wall with ease, just grabbing onto the rope, putting one foot in front of the other. And if you see, he's not up against the skyscraper, up against the wall. He's leaned back, putting his feet up against the wall, leaning his full weight back, trusting that that next grab is going to be the next step. We serve a powerful God. That is a God who is at the top of that rock wall, who, through the death of his son, tossed a rope down to us to grab a hold of. He invites us to put our feet on that wall and lean away from the pre-established handhelds that are put there, the paths that we create as people and the ideas that we put forth to get ourselves through the day. God says, I created the world in 6 days. I control the weather. I can move mountains. Take a hold of my rope and walk this building with me, one step at a time. Now, yes, it might seem silly to those who are clinging to the rocks and climbing their own way, but I promise you, if you do it with me, you'll do it with ease. Now, if you look back, it might be scary, but keep your eyes on me, because I am a mega power. I am at the top of this building. I'm at the top of this rope. Keep coming. This rock wall's nothing. I'll move it for you. Now, this devotion has a couple different questions for us right at the tail end for us to get to ponder over during the rest of the day. I just want to read through those with you. In what areas of your life do you need the experience to experience the power of God? What are those walls that you seem to be stuck on? Maybe you've gotten a couple steps up and it seemed all right, but you come to an impasse. The next handheld is out of reach. Where can you use that power of God? Where can you use that rope tossed down to you? The next question is, how have you already seen the power of God in your life? Have there been times in your life where God has tossed you that rope? It's right behind you. Has he tossed you that rope, and have you seen that he's willing to pull you up a bit? And the last question is, what steps can you take to acknowledge and trust God today as you continue to walk with him? How can you take steps to reach for that rope? Maybe it's just acknowledging it. It's saying, hey God, I am here to let my weaknesses be your strengths. I know that the path that I am climbing, these red rocks that I'm clinging to, they're not getting me anywhere. I acknowledge that this way up with you is the way I want to go. And it might be scary. I will tell you what, there's nothing scarier than leaning back and putting all of your weight back and knowing that if you let go, you could fall. But He's a powerful God, and He's got you. So let me read through this prayer right at the end of the devotion with you guys. If you have prayer requests, or if you have a rock wall in your life right now that it is difficult for you to get through, let us know down below. Drop in how we can be praying for you. And if it's something that the rock wall is not something you really want to put a name to, just put your name. Just give us a thumbs up, if anything. We want to pray for you. So let's go ahead and let's read through this prayer together. God, thank you for your power. Thank you for every time your power has sustained me in my weakness and covered me when I needed it most. God, today I choose to lay down my power and receive yours. I cannot do this life with my own strength. Come and fill me up with your strength and give me your power to walk out every day of my life. I ask you to expose the areas in my life where I need your power and help me surrender them to you today. I pray for the ability to walk with your strength every day of my life. In Jesus' name, amen. You guys, I'm so excited for the rest of these days with you. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I love you all, and I can't wait to be praying with you guys for the rest of this time and to see all of the ways that God is helping you guys up the rock wall today. Take care.